Age of Darkness Final Stand is an RTS game that I was looking forward to seeing for quite some time. I wasn't sure if I was ever going to get a chance to pick it up, so a very big thank you to PlaySide and for Keymailer for hooking me up with a chance to get together with the publishers and the developers to bring you my thoughts and opinions about the game. Thank you guys very much also for being very patient while it took me a very long time to get out a video. As many of you know, by now I have quit streaming because I had to make a choice between making videos or streaming. And frankly, I find making videos to be more comfortable, which is going to free me up a lot more time to do it. But I had some personal things on my side that I needed to tie up before the end of that. A lot of it having to deal with helping my parents out in another state, which has its own complications. So thank you for hanging in there once again. You guys are troopers, and I love you for it. Long before I got into streaming or any kind of video creation, I would spend nights playing RTS games or MMOs. I'm also willing to bet that a good number of people who watch my channel are some individuals who have spent hours, if not nights, into days playing RTSs such as Command & Conquer, StarCraft, Warcraft, many others. So I was super excited to cover this title, as mostly positive reviews on Steam right now, upwards in the range of 8,000 reviews. Age of Darkness Final Stand is a base building survival game that does have a campaign, which I haven't played through yet, because I was really interested in the survival mode, and according to the developers, anybody who's played an RTS will be rather familiar with the game. However, if you follow some of the standard old school RTS rules, you will wind up falling behind on construction, because the game is mostly about expansion and then building your defenses and surviving the knighthood that comes, because you have day and night cycles, and one of those night cycles will have a special crystal that explodes and essentially opens a portal which is going to form what they call a death knight, which is going to come and rush your base. In fact, it's one of the most impressive techs about the game is the fact that this game can simulate tens of thousands of objects on the screen at one time, all doing something. There are even in some cases where you can see endless mode, or people that have played the harder difficulties later in the game, in which they have somewhere between 30 and 40,000 of these enemies attacking their base at one time, and can have upwards of 70,000 so far that I've seen as a maximum, and that's been reported, and the developers have not commented on how far it can go. But even at 70,000 on some of the, I would say, more top-notch systems, it seems to work flawlessly. But even on mid-grade to lower systems, it still doesn't get too crazy or unplayable, even at those levels, as long as you maintain a good perspective on what your settings are going to be for video settings. However, despite the great many things that I do like about the game, there are some things about the game that I don't like, such as the one problem that's not unique to this game, and it plagues RTSs in general, is the ability to be able to place your wall placements for defense. They just seem to have weird angles and the can't line up to the grid. I really wish there was a system or a tech in place that would allow you to free flow up that placement and adjust it, because you only have what you can snap to a grid, and it just becomes awkward in certain situations and in placements of the map. Speaking of awkward, the other actual awkward thing to this game is the map itself. There's actually only one map on here unless you're playing the campaign, which I haven't played yet. But so far inside the survival mode, you just have randomization of the same map. And it kind of gets kind of repetitive and boring because all the units are the same. There just doesn't seem to be a wide enough variety. Now, there are some things in the game that I haven't seen that would provide that variety for me as you get into some of the later portions of the game or the higher settings of the game. You get all kinds of monsters that come and rush your base, as you can watch in some of the people that are playing the hardest difficulties in the game. But for the most part, you're going to be dealing with the same characters over and over and over again, including the only 6 characters that are playable inside of the game, which seem to have unique personalities to them, but they all build mostly the same items, in which you have at least one faction that's supposed to use the chaos that's attacking you at night, and instead they're just building the same kind of units you are. RTS has always also seemed to struggle with AI at some points, and this game is no exception. The ranged characters seem to completely range themselves out of the melee, and they start to separate if you're not micromanaging it all the time. There doesn't seem to be a setting to lock them into the formation. You can form them to a formation, and that may just simply be me not knowing how to play the game properly, but I haven't found a way to lock that formation into place. It becomes a struggle on some of the maps when you're trying to build certain things when you've expanded quite largely and you have to micromanage on the other side of the map. Other than that, you have a pretty solid title here that has a lot of fun to break out with, especially with a friend when you play the co-op survival mode, or the multiplayer as they place it into the title. Other than that, the game doesn't really bring anything to the table that's extremely unique to the RTS genre. The having tens of thousands of items on the screen is certainly impressive, but it doesn't break out anything that isn't normal to any RTS other than being more stable when with more objects on the screen. However, the game is appropriately priced between the $20 to $25 mark and even cheaper when it goes on sale, so the game's a good buy to pick up if you're the RTS player that likes to throw out a game with a friend every now and then. You can't play this game alone. I certainly haven't found fun playing it by myself, and I have found more fun playing it with another person. I'm going to keep this review rather short because there's not a whole lot that I can bring to the table when it comes to an RTS game. You guys will be able to see some of the footage above, and I'll try to do my best to edit it where you guys can see the items that I'm talking about. If you enjoyed the video up above and you would like to see more, go ahead and hit that subscription button and hit the bell notification to know when I put up a new video, because my videos have been sparse. Even though I've been saying I've been picking up the pace here for a little bit, I have put that into gear and we are starting to get ready to put that out. But it did take time for me to put things together in my personal life to make it happen. We're at 1,227 subscribers on the channel. Thank you guys very much for being here and checking out my videos. I greatly appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next video. Probably a video coming out here soon describing a lot of the things that's been happening and why there was such a gap on the channel. And then we're going to be trying to pick up more titles to cover here shortly. I will try to get a list for you guys on the games that we'll have coming out here very shortly, and I'll try to put as much information down below as I can. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.